welcome back to The Living Years, where I explore the movies and albums from each year of my life. We have finished up 4 episodes on the films of my birth year, 1975, and now we move on to a new set of 4 episodes that will chronicle my deep dive into the albums of 75. When the dust settled, over 100 albums had been sampled or in most cases experienced in full. I've organized my favorites into a top 30 list that will be presented 10 at a time over the next 3 episodes. But first, we will cover all the leftovers today. This is everything that did not make the cut. First, we all know that there are only 2 kinds of people in the world, Elvis fans or Beatles fans. As for the King, he pushed out 2 new studio albums in 75, Promised Land and Today. These are from some of his final studio sessions. They are good, but not great. His most familiar late career hits came just before or after these. Elvis also put out 2 collections of hits in 75, Pure Gold and Double Dynamite, along with a reissue for some reason of the songs from the Frankie and Johnny film. The Fab Four were all performing separately by this point, of course. Paul McCartney was in Wings. Their 75 album is Venus and Mars, which is actually pretty good stuff. John Lennon decided to do an album of all 1950s rock and roll songs with mixed results. George Harrison's album Extra Texture, Read All About It failed to really do much for me. And then all Ringo Starr had for us was a greatest hits collection, as did John as well. Speaking of which, this was a big year for greatest hits albums. I rendered them automatically ineligible for the countdown, but some of the most popular collections this year include those by Carly Simon, Al Green, and Chicago, who each had new material this year as well. The Rolling Stones and the Beach Boys were apparently battling it out for the most hits collections, as both released 3 this year and no new material either. Michael Jackson released a collection of his solo hits up to that point as well. 75 also brought the final Motown Jackson 5 album and Michael's last album before the big breakthrough Off the Wall 4 years later. If you want to rock out, you can likely find what you need with Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare, Black Sabbath's Sabotage, or Aerosmith's Toys in the Attic, featuring Sweet Emotion and the original version of Walk This Way. Other rock gems from this year include Jefferson Starship's album, one by Rush, ELO, Styx, The Who, Ted Nugent, Roxy Music, AC/DC's first 2 released exclusively in Australia, and Kiss's Breakthrough Live album. The Bay City Rollers brought the pop with SATURDAY, Night. Then the dance, disco, funk, R&B, and soul albums made us move our feet with Casey and the Sunshine Band, featuring several of their hits like That's the Way, I Like It, ABBA featuring Mamma Mia and SOS, as well as the Bee Gees, Gloria Gaynor, the Isley Brothers, Rufus featuring Shaka Khan, War, Natalie Cole, Smokey Robinson, Ray Charles, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Tower of Power, and James Brown with 2 sad attempts at turning his hits into disco tunes. If you need to jam, Grateful Dead and Jeff Beck can take care of you. If you'd rather laugh, George Carlin and Richard Pryor have just what you need. If you've got the blues, Muddy Waters is your man. In the world of country, Guy Clark's Old Number 1 was a pretty big deal. Then there's Glenn Campbell, Waylon Jennings, and John Prine. If you're a little bit country but a little bit rock and roll, check out the Band's album, Northern Lights, Southern Cross. My favorite band of the present, Over the Rhine, covers one of their beautiful songs from this album, It Makes No Difference. They are also featured with Bob Dylan on the Basement Tapes, a collection of tunes going back as far as 1967. If you've never been mellow, Olivia Newton-John can help you out, as can the Carpenters, Captain and Tennille with their signature hit, Love Will Keep Us Together, Judy Collins and her amazing hit, Send in the Clowns, along with everybody who contributed to the Mahogany movie soundtrack, featuring Diana Ross's Do You Know Where You're Going To? The contemporary Christian music releases of 1975 were not too shabby either. One will be featured in the top 30, but there were also memorable albums from Barry Maguire and Second Chapter of Acts, Liberation Suite, Pat Terry Group, Evie, Chuck Girard, Honey Tree, Jamie Owens, and Randy Matthews. Finally, we have what I hope can be an annual event, and that's the Spinal Tap Award. This is given to a very special album that truly represents that famous film quote, "It's such a fine line between stupid and clever." 1975's Spinal Tap Award winner is Lou Reed with his album Metal Machine Music. Over an hour of non-stop noise. Not ambient or industrial or something else that might actually be desirable to listen to. No, it is literally a non-stop jumbled mess. It's like a rebellion against his record contract or something. There's nothing remotely artistic or enjoyable here. And that leaves us with my top 30 favorites of 1975, which will begin next time. Thanks for watching.